Hello again. This is David with Patient Math Ed, and this is another installment of Invitations to Math. So I'd like to follow up with the last video about Old English sheet counting and try to get us a little further. However, before we do that, I would highly suggest that if you are interested in this topic, you do some struggle with it first. Try to figure it out on your own before you watch this video, because mathematics is about doing; it's not about watching. Unless you actually get in there and get your hands dirty, you're not really learning mathematics. Okay, so let's get to it. So I'm going to do an example problem related to the last video. I'm not going to spoil that particular video by giving you the answer. So let's come up with another example of a record of sheep that the medieval English would have done. So let's say we have 10101 sheep. Okay? How would we figure out what this is in our usual system of decimal? Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of reverse engineering. We're going to think about what happened to produce these numbers and then backtrack from there. Okay, so this was the first number, which means we took the sheep, divided them into two equal groups, and then there was one left over, which spoiled the even division. So, let's see, how would we do this? We can say we had this group of sheep. I'll just put X's in there, however many sheep there were. Okay, so there's our picture of the sheep. And so that's not the actual number, so ignore that count of X's there. So we took that and we split them into two groups. So we ended up with this pen of sheep and that pen of sheep, and these are equal in value. And then there was one left over. So I'll leave these blank and we'll figure out what those are later. Okay? So that takes care of that digit. Okay, and then we're at this digit. So that comes from taking one of these pens, so we'll just take this one, and we split it into two groups. And those are equal, and we got a plus 0. There was no remainder. And now we move on to the next digit. So the next digit is a 1. So we took one of these pens and split it into two. Those are equal in value, and then we had a remainder of 1. And then we got that as a remainder. So again, we get two groups. Can they see me? Yes, okay. And those are equal, and we had 0 again. And then finally take the last pen and we had a remainder of 1. Okay, so that's what happened. So now from there, we're going to try to backtrack and figure out what it was that must have been in the first group. Okay? Keep in mind that that is the final sheep. Okay? At the end of the process, you're always left with one sheep. So the very first value is going to be 1. So we can fill that in with zeros. So the very last step is to end up with one sheep. So we have literally nothing in the pins. Okay, so what does that mean here? That means we had that. So we had one sheep, and 0 remainder. Now, that means we had 2 sheep and 0, and then a remainder of 1. And now that's 5 sheep. So now we have 5 and 5 and a remainder of 0, which means we had 10 and 10 and a remainder of 1. So that means we must have had 21 sheep. So you can try this approach with the prior video, that record, and see what you come up with. So whatever this is, whatever sort of system this is, if you haven't yet figured out what the system is, it is equal to 21 in decimal. So we'll put that that's a decimal value there. Okay, so we got Old English sheep counting. 10101 is the same thing as 21 in decimal. Okay, all right. So have fun with that, and I'll see you next time.